Ladies and gentlemen, I was wondering... Hey! Morey, what's going on?
You remember the girl I told you I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole?
Yeah?
She just inherited $1 million.
Oh, let's go.
Can you top this? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Wink Martindale, and we'll play a game. We'll have some laughs together for the next half hour. Our show is called Can You Top This? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, and welcome to our show, the show where you people at home send us jokes, and our comedians, our experts, try to top your stories. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We'll find out in a moment how they do today. Here's the man who will be telling your joke, playing for you, the home viewers, Mr. Richard Dawson. My friend Richard. Hello there, my love. How are you?
Very nice to see you.
Thank you.
Today I ask, let us not forget the immortal words of that wonderful gentleman, Isaac Newton, who once said, "Okay, wise guy, stop throwing those apples down on me."
Here's a man who is so dull and uninteresting until you get to know him, and then he's just plain boring. Morey, Amsterdam.
I don't need that kind of talk. I can stay home and talk to my mother-in-law and get that kind of work. What is this, the immortal words of whom-ha? Is that what it is?
What do you like?
The immortal words, leave us not forget the immortal words of Napoleon Bonaparte, who when asked why he held his hands inside his coat was heard to reply, "If I let go, my pants will fall down."
Poor man suspended. Thank you, Morey. And now a great entertainer and truly one of the finest ventriloquists and a very funny man, Mr. Paul Winchell. Hello, Paul.
Let us not forget the immortal words.
You gonna do the rest?
Let us not forget the immortal words of Julius Caesar, who once said, "One day they're going to name a salad after me, and they're going to call it a Julius salad."
That's what it says over there.
What did I know? You told me to come out.
Here's a guy whose wisecracks are always greeted with a tremendous burst of silence. Jack Carter.
You're marvelous, just marvelous.
All together, let us not forget the immortal words of John Alden, who said to Priscilla, "What do you mean, speak for yourself? Call my lawyer." Ice. We got ice today.
Ice water.
Ice in the water. That's what they give away on this
piece
show.
of ice in my
Said this was a low-budget show. Thank you, Jack. We
Thank
have
you,
Paul,
Wink.
we have Morey, we have Richard.
Why not?
That's the group who will be taking part in our show, be telling jokes today. And this is the way the thing works. The home viewer gets $25 for having the joke told by Richard. And his score, of course, is recorded on our computer. And then the panel of stars will try to top Dick's score. Another $25 goes to the home viewer each time one of the stars fails to top his score. If all of the celebrities fail to top it, the home viewer gets $100 of our money. And if you like to eat outdoors,
Yes.
Charm Glow's, I can't wait, can you? Charm Glow's new gas-fired outdoor Chef's Choice patio wagon. It's a beauty. It's dual gas barbecue featuring a new metal cast iron burner for even heat distribution from Charm Glow Products of Antioch, Illinois. Those are the prizes you'll be working for, cash and a very nice grand prize. And we'll be back to hear Richard's first story, and our first category will take place in a
Oh
minute.
boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Yes.
What are you applauding for?
Okay. You ready?
Applauding for the audience. Yeah.
Yes, I think we have a great audience.
We
here.
have
We
it.
should
I like
applaud
it.
them.
Marvel, they're okay.
All right.
Steve, everybody stand up and take a bow.
First category, Texans. These are
Texans.
all Texan
I
tales.
love Texas. It's in Manchester.
This story came from Mr. Ross Cunningham of Long Beach, California. A Texan story. Richard?
A little man of perspective walked into a saloon, and he was a darling little fella. He said, "Oh, good afternoon." Big Texan said to his friend, "Watch me make this clown dance." Walked over, he said, "Boy, You're a foreigner, aren't you?
She's right. I'm from the British Isles. I am here prospecting for gold.
Said, I thought you were looking for noodles. Now tell me something, boy. Can you dance?
She said, no, sir, I cannot dance.
Well, I won't tell you how you want to learn to dance, boy. He took out his gun. He started shooting at this poor old
Dick.
And just, it was the most embarrassing thing. The guy went out. He was just shaking. Everybody laughed. Thought it was great. About an hour later, the Texan's leaving the saloon. Just gets outside the door. And he hears, and he looks up. There's the biggest rifle you've ever seen, pointed 4 feet from his head. And the prospector said,
Mr. Texan, have you ever kissed a mule?
Texan looked down and said, no! But I've always wanted to.
Shall we, Don? 83. That's our score for Mr. Ross Cunningham of Long Beach. This category, of course, is Texans. And, Morey, you always have a good story about a good Texan.
Always got one.
Would you like to hear Morey tell it, Jack?
Had an uncle lived in Texas, was so bow-legged, my aunt used to hang him over the door for good luck.
Had an aunt with knock knees, too, didn't he?
Yes, they stood together, they formed the word ox.
She sat around the house, she really sat around the house.
That's a fat lady joke. It's nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. This is a rich Texan.
A rich Texan.
This man was loaded.
So loaded,
He was also rich.
Also rich.
He was rich and loaded because he had a lot to drink at lunch. And he and his friend are walking down the street toward their car. And this one fellow said, "Get there, passing a Rolls-Royce agency." He says, "Just remembered, I got to make a phone call. Excuse me a minute." Ran in the Rolls-Royce agency. He's there about 25 minutes. He comes back out. He says, "Sorry. Sorry I was late." He says, "That's perfectly all right." "No," he says, "I don't like to keep anybody waiting." He says, "But you know how it is." He says, "While I was in there," he says, "I bought another Rolls-Royce." He says, "Another Rolls-Royce? What's the matter with you?" He says, "You got 9 Rolls-Royces now. What'd you buy another one for?" He said, "Well, you can't just use a fella's phone without buying something."
Beautiful, Morey. All Texas sale, good for 83 of our Can You Top This points. And, of course, you topped our... No, you didn't top. You tied the home viewer. And in our game, it's called Can You Top This, so another $25 for Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Winchell.
Yes, sir.
You have the floor, sir.
I have a Texas
There he
joke.
is.
You know, everybody says that down in Texas, everything is really, really big down there. Well, so is the Texas Airlines. Sitting on the runway, there's an airplane that makes the 747 look like a model with a rubber band. It is the biggest thing you ever saw in your whole life. And just then, the Texas pilot comes out of the cabin up front and he says, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a fine flight tonight." He says, "If during the flight you don't like the food we serve, feel free to go up to the second floor, where we have 4 restaurants featuring cuisine from all over the world. In case afterwards you want to relax, you don't like the picture we're showing, go up to the 3rd floor. We have a Cinerama theater up there, holds 1,200 people. In case after that you are athletically inclined, you all go up to the 4th floor. We have a swimming pool up there. We also have a gymnasium. And you just make yourself at home. We got dance halls. We got a ballroom. You just enjoy yourself, yeah? Now then, everybody fasten your seat belts to relax. I'm going to go up to the cockpit and see if I can get this son of a gun off the ground."
82, Paul. Mr. Carter.
You sure cleaned that up. All right. I love the line about we also have an outdoor terrace. If you're out there, please hold on to the rail. This is a Texas story, but it's kind of reversed. Starts off in California with one of them. That's a loudmouth Californian. And we have plenty of them out here because they're kind of proud of California. This guy's in a bar in La Jolla, which is spelled La Jolla, comes out San Jose. And he says, "By gosh, I love living here in California. I'm proud to run the Reagan who won the gubernatorial race, and he's our head goober. I love him. I love the freeways in Fresno and Knott's Berry Farms, and just to get up in Los Angeles and in the morning and hear the birds coughing and hacking and joking. Greatest state in the world, California. Some guy in the bar said, what about Texas? Texas? What are they good for? Football heroes and bad women. Guy grabbed and said, listen, you, my wife comes from Texas. Oh, really? What position does she play?
Big 85 beat a big 83. So one of our panelists topped your joke, Mr. Cunningham from Long Beach. You get $75 from Can You Top This? And thank you for some tall tales, gentlemen from Texas. We'll be back in a moment with our second round, second category on Can You Top This? Our last category, our first category had to do with Texas. Hold on.
Come in.
Should I open it or not?
Oh,
here we go. Vincent Price, ladies and gentlemen.
What am I doing here? I thought this was the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. You might call it that.
Maybe it's the Price is Right.
No, he got the way us sitting around. We thought we were statues.
Yeah.
Huh? Vincent, it's lovely to see you. Been on a tour all over the world.
Yes,
with
all
paintings and art and everything. There must have been something funny happened along the way.
Well, no, you know, there
Come
really
on, it's
aren't.
a joke show. You got to tell an art joke.
Well, I don't know any jokes about art, Morey, but I do know a very serious thing that happened recently.
Tell a serious
You know,
joke.
it really is kind of extraordinary. Picasso, you know, the great French
yeah.
artist, Pablo Picasso. Well, he had a robbery recently down in his little villa down in the south of France, and all the police came in, you know, because these paintings are worth a lot of money. And they said, well, Mr. Picasso, did you see the robbers? And he said, well, it happens that I was standing behind a curtain. He said, I was scared to death and I didn't have a gun, but I did get a good peek at him. And they said, well, could you give us a description? And he said, well, better than that, I'll paint you a picture of the main one, you know, and you can send it out. So they sent it out on teletype all over the world, and Picasso got a little anxious about it, and he called him about a month later, and he said, well, have you apprehended anybody yet? And they said, well, so far we have apprehended one wall-eyed pike, 2 nuns, and the Eiffel Tower.
We got 100 today. See there? See how easy it is?
Yourself.
Yeah.
Golfer dropping by. Thank you. Vincent Price, friends.
Vincent, thank you. George Senior. Vincent Price, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, where did you get that wall-eyed pike?
I don't know.
Hey, that's nice.
He really knows about everything there is to know about art, doesn't he?
Oh,
yeah.
What is it about the guy who's got a girl with one eye in the center of the head and an ear over here and 3 noses? Don't you like it, guys? What's the matter? Don't you dig distortion?
Yeah, tell us that joke. That sounds good.
Yeah, well, don't you dig distortion?
All right, our next category is marriage. Marriage jokes are what we're going to use this time.
Well, I got marriage jokes.
Here's Do You Ever. Here's one from Miss Cecilia Rosin of Chicago, Illinois.
Cecilia Rosin, I used to step on her.
You're a fighter. You had it on the bottom of your shoes. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Richard.
Oh, Richard.
This is 2 old darlings who are talking about marriage.
What's that?
What? Can't hear you, friend. I'm
What's
here.
up, my friend?
All right, just so
He takes a nap in the middle of a song.
I'm not here to tell them for you. I'm here to tell them for my friends.
Oh, but
They left a call for 5 minutes
Oh,
from
I
now. I'm just warming up to see
you wake up the king of Iran. He's out there.
Never point your finger like that.
It'll
Your
go
nail
off.
might go off. This happens to be about 2 old darlings who recently got remarried, and they were just discussing it. One said, how's everything working out with the new hubby? The other one said, I don't want to talk about it. Here, have a little more juice. In a minute, we'll go up and put some frog suits on and just go out and scare some kiddies. No, you know, since you've retired as road manager for Martha and the Vandellas, you've seemed to have lost your spark. Tell me, what sort of a marriage have you got? So, well, what do you mean? So, well, I'll tell you. I mean, my sort. The marriage that I have is sort of what you might call a cultural marriage. Not a lot of sex, but we go for long walks,
visit museums, and we see art. What sort of marriage do you have? I said, well, I guess you could say that I've got what they call an agricultural marriage. I said, what's that? I said, I wish my old man was 6 feet under, and he wishes I was 6 feet under.
I have a second spot, so this is the 6 feet under and 77 on top.
Nice way to treat two old ladies, folks.
77. Marriage jokes is what we want to hear. Morey, we'll begin with you.
Well, I'm one of those fellas who, I just don't believe, yes, I know, you couldn't tell the first I know. But,
Married to the
no,
same
I don't kid a lot about marriage, because, you know, I'm a very happily married man. And
I heard that, yes.
Yes, I know, that stuff gets around.
I meant to call and tell your wife.
And you have a lovely wife.
My wife is a doll, she really is, a little effeminate, but very sweet.
How long have you been married, Morey? How many years have you been married?
Been married 28 years. 28 years.
Seems
and
like yesterday.
you know, I don't know, if you're really crazy about each other, there's always surprising little things that come up in marriage. And my wife is very reserved, you know. But she's very, very neat. You know, she was the one that they wrote the joke about years ago about I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I come back to bed as maid. I mean it. She's the original one who put paper under the cuckoo clock. She's the neatest woman you ever saw in your life. Mrs. Neat, you know. So every once in a while when she comes up with a funny remark, it stays with you. So I got her, it was for our 15th wedding anniversary, saved my loot, and I bought her a beautiful diamond ring. You know, it was set nicely and it sparkled like crazy. So I said, honey, we're going out to dinner tonight with our friends. And I said, wait till they see your ring. She said, I'm not going to say a word about it. She said, they'll be so surprised. She said, watch. Everybody will, hey, look at the ring. Watch what happens. So we go to dinner with our friends, another 6 couples, having a lovely evening, and nobody says a word about the ring. Not one word. And she starts to get a little bug. Finally, she says, you know something? It's kind of hot in here. I think I'll take my ring off.
All right, Morey, good enough for an 80, and that top is 77. We're going to take a break for a moment, take our rings off, and we'll be back right after these words. We'll continue with our category called marriage. All right, we're going to continue our round on marriage. 77 was the topper that Richard scored for Miss Cecilia Rawson of Chicago. Category is marriage, and Paul Winchell, we're to you.
All right, maybe I got a 77 one here. These two friends, two Italian boys, two Italian men meet on the street. They're having conversation. One guy said, "Hey, Luigi, tell me the truth. You like a woman with a long black hair?" I said, "No, I don't like her with long black hair. I like her with the short hair, with the blonde." "Oh," said I. "Well, you like a woman with an eyes, with a round, with a plump like this." I said, "No, I don't like a plump, doctor. I like a skinny, straight woman, sitting like that. Linguine kind." He said, "Well, tell me once more, you like a woman with a long leg, with a small foot, eh?" I said, "No. I like her with a short leg and a big foot." He said, "You like all the dogs?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Then how come you make a love to my wife?"
You cleaned that up pretty good.
Hot tonight, hot. I cleaned that one up pretty good.
Paul's hot. 82, that's one of an 82.
This week he learned the punchlines, too. There was a tall man. That ain't my story. I forgot what I was doing. What's the category?
Marriage.
Marriage. Italian marriage? Or
Yes,
something?
it doesn't matter.
Well, couple were married 10 years, and the marriage is falling apart. He started to come home, and he forgot who she was, you know. Right to the newspaper, right to bed every night. Never went out anymore. Television, munching the peanuts and the dinner and a stick, and they start to really hate each other. And she figured it's time to get him out of the house for a 10th anniversary, go to New York for a weekend spree. Said, all right, I'll go. Well, the minute they got to New York, he was like a changed man. She booked theaters and nightclubs, and they were out dancing and watching shows, and they're in cabs, and she's getting them loaded, and they're really having a ball. The old romancer came out. Now in cabs, he's necking with her. Hiya, baby, where we going now? Now to get back to the hotel, he is really stoned. This is it. And she just could barely get him undressed. Meanwhile, he's trying to neck with her. Ah, baby. She put him in bed. She was so thrilled with him, and he passed out cold. She figured, well, before I go to bed, I'll call the house, see how the children are. So she dialed. She called the operator. Operator, give me Westport 9246. The guy sat up in bed. Don't call that number, honey. That's my wife.
Harold Bliss, come up with an 88 on
I
it.
blew it.
85 on it.
I was thinking of your punchline. I forgot mine.
All of our panelists topped your joke, Miss Rosin of Chicago. Your joke on marriage does net you $25, and thank you for submitting a story to our show called Can You Top This? We'll be back to try to top more stories and more jokes right after these messages.
Wait.
We're not going to have time to start a round because we're almost out of time. But I have a friend, as a matter of fact, a couple of friends over there in the center seat with a few words.
Who's here? Who?
You, me? Yeah. Oh, I thought it was me. No, that's Jack Carter. Oh, how do you do, Mr. Carter? We brought you here because we were going to do the category of jobs, and I had a joke prepared for you with jobs. You did? You didn't know about it? No, I don't usually rehearse. You just do the joke, and I'll go right along with you. All right. The job was, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an astronaut. Really? Yeah. Teacher says I'm taking up space. No, you really want to be an astronaut? A whole astronaut? No, sort of a half astronaut. Well, here's the joke. If you want to be an astronaut, you got to tell... What do I do? Never mind what you did. If you want to be an astronaut, you have to know the shape of the world. Can you tell us quickly the shape of the world? Could you give me a hint? All right, I'll give you a hint. What's the shape of my wife's earrings? Square. No, the one she wears on Sundays. Round. That's it. Now, what's the shape of the world? Square on weekdays, round on Sundays. Round. No. I thought it was it.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. Jack Carter, our usual thanks to you for some funny stories. Mr. Paul Winchell and friends, Mr. Morey, Amsterdam. And, of course, the home viewer joke teller who does a great job for you, Richard Dawson. I'm Wick Martindale. We'll see you tomorrow on Can You Top This? Goodbye. Air transportation furnished by the people of American Airlines who want everyone to make themselves at home the American way. Transportation and promotional consideration provided by Hertz, where you don't just rent a car, you rent a company.